The Fraser Valley is increasingly becoming a destination for home buyers in the Lower Mainland. Helping to guide and advise both buyers and sellers are the nearly 4,000 realtors who serve the area. Recently, I had the opportunity to sit down with the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board's President Chris Shields and CEO Baldev Gill for a wide-ranging discussion covering everything from market trends to the value of using a professional realtor and to the use of technology to communicate with members. Here is an excerpt from that discussion. Okay, so that's a lot of support that you offer there. That costs money, and that always leads to the question of dues. Are dues going up?
Well, yes, dues are going up after 10 years. So we have not had a dues increase since 2010. And the dues are going up by $10 per month per member. And the reason for that really is the support that we offer. One of our largest expenditures is our salaries and benefits line item, which comprises about 45% of our total budget. And so you can imagine over 10 years as our staff have grown with the organization, we too support them by providing them with reasonable increases from year to year. But if we don't have an increase in the revenue, you can imagine what can happen over time where your purchasing power as an organization is limited. And so therefore, after 10 years, I think it's appropriate for us to have an increase in dues.
Have $10 a month increase?
$10 a month, yes.
Okay, that's not a big increase.
Well, we don't think so, but I'm not the one paying the $10, but some of our members have said that maybe that's a little bit too high. And so, again, what we do there is we try to explain to them the rationale as to why they're going up and where that money will be invested. And really, it's investing right back into the services that we offer the realtors. So it's really kind of a catch-22, but the whole goal is, as I said earlier, the mission of ensuring the realtor success. And part of doing that is making sure that the organization is reasonably funded.
We also gave our members a dues holiday back in 2018 in the spring, and we reduced the MLS success fee, which was meant to be a temporary reduction. So those coupled with what Baldev was just talking about, costs going up over time, it just made sense, and we wouldn't be prudent as a board of directors if we didn't equip the board with the funds they need. And I think maybe you want to talk about the reserves, Baldev, that were set by previous boards a few years back that maybe are underfunded.
Sure, thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. Yeah, so Chris is right. In early 2018, the board of directors at the time and the senior management at the time, I was not with the organization. I joined later into 2018, October 31st. And so the decision was made early in 2018 that we would be rebating $15 on the success fees per transaction, as well as a dues holiday in the month of April. And the third factor was that further on into that year, the board of directors felt that it was necessary to increase the reserves. And the reserves are really money set aside for a rainy day, whether it be a dues reserve, a technology reserve, or an operating reserve. And and I support having reserves. I think that's prudent. That's financially the right thing to do. But what we found out was that while it's one thing to say that we're going to have higher reserves, you also need to fund those reserves appropriately. And what we found was that depending on the month, because our revenues are seasonal, we had underfunded reserves by about $1 million. And so that's not helpful. So it's one thing to set a reserve, it's the other thing to fund it. And so part of that dues increase will also go to funding, making sure that we are financially sustainable as an organization moving forward.
Well, you need to have that reserve. That's what gets you through those turbulent times.
Absolutely, and that's where we are with the reserve. So I think the $10 will be wisely invested. I think we've demonstrated as an organization, as senior management and the board of directors in 2020 that we were able to scale back our expenditures. And still, I'm pleased to report that we're going to have a favorable year financially, despite the challenges of 2020 with the pandemic.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be a pretty exciting year ahead. Thanks for coming in and sort of giving us an update. I really appreciate you taking the time to do that.
Thanks for having us, Stu.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it.
And thank you for watching.